For the property and casualty exam, you must have a rock-solid understanding of the 4 elements required to establish negligence. These are duty, breach, causation, and damages. First is duty, which is the legal obligation to act with a reasonable standard of care. For example, every driver has a duty to obey traffic laws and drive safely to protect others on the road. The second element is breach of duty. This occurs when a person fails to meet that standard of care. If a driver runs a red light because they were texting, they have breached their duty. Third is causation. The breach of duty must be the direct and foreseeable cause of the injury. This has 2 parts, actual cause and proximate cause. The exam loves to test this. Actual cause is the but-for test. But for the driver texting, the accident wouldn't have happened. Proximate cause means the injury was a foreseeable result of the action. Hitting another car is a foreseeable result of running a red light. Finally, there must be damages, meaning actual monetary losses. This could be bodily injury, such as medical bills, or property damage, like the cost to repair the other car. A great way to remember these 4 elements is the phrase "don't be careless, dude," for duty, breach, causation, and damages. Now, let's pivot to how an at-fault party can defend against a negligence claim, which is another critical exam topic. The 3 main defenses are contributory negligence, comparative negligence, and assumption of risk. Contributory negligence is the harshest rule. If the injured party is found to be even 1% at fault, they are barred from recovering any damages. So, if a claimant was speeding slightly when they were hit by someone who ran a stop sign, under a pure contributory negligence rule, they would receive nothing. Most states, however, use a more lenient rule called comparative negligence. This rule reduces the injured party's recovery by their percentage of fault. For example, if the total damages are $100,000 and the claimant is found to be 20% at fault, their recovery would be reduced by $20,000, so they would receive $80,000. The exam will test your ability to calculate these amounts. The final defense is assumption of risk. This applies when the injured party knowingly and voluntarily expose themselves to a known danger. A classic example is a spectator getting hit by a foul ball at a baseball game. They are generally considered to have assumed that risk by attending the event. On the exam, you'll see questions that present a scenario involving bodily injury or property damage and ask you to determine liability based on these principles. For instance, a question might state that a claimant in a comparative negligence state is 60% at fault for an accident. In many modified comparative negligence states, if you are more than 50 or 51% at fault, you can't recover anything, which is a common exam trap. For free practice questions, AI-powered explanations, and more exam prep tools, visit openexamprep.com. That's openexamprep, all one word, .com.